Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Barriers and Boundaries Resilience Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, EB, and this is your personal and/or organizational resilience building podcast, where I'm talking about how healthy employees create healthy organizations. So today, let's get into it. I wanted to talk about the difference that resilience makes, in particular, and how it can help you go from burnout to being on fire, or it can help you prevent going into burnout and keep you on fire if that's where you're at now. So, I want to do this by discovering three ironies of resilience that I've really been thinking about this past week and just wanted to share with you. The first one is that resilience is not created in isolation. It takes a support system. It takes a collective strength of the team, of the unit, of the community, whatever your context may be in that. I believe that true resilience is actually formed best when it's done with others. It's not meant to be in isolation. So, really think about, how do you interact with others? Are you trying to force something through without the aid of others in your lives? And really be honest about what it is that's keeping you uh, from doing that, because that ties into the second irony, and that is resilience is formed in not strength but vulnerability. We often think about the strongest, those who are standing tall, those who are standing at the finish line, that have endured, but that just might mean toughness. That is not the same thing as resilience. Toughness and resilience are two different things. Think of the tree in the hurricane that snaps. It's the one that didn't bend or didn't sway. But you have those trees, down in Florida or Louisiana or southern Texas. When the hurricanes come through, those trees that endure and those trees that last and those trees that are resilient are the ones that know that bend and don't break, and they give. And it's the willingness to acknowledge limits, adapt, seeking help, and that's what creates a lasting resilience, rather than pushing through, forcing something with just that sheer strength or sheer toughness. And the last irony that I wanted to share with you today about resilience is that it may actually be a mask. There might be some deeper struggles going through. One way to really capture this is to really identify how people immediately respond to adversity when it comes up. Do they panic? Do they have fear? Do they have worry or doubt? Are they led by those emotions? Do they have good EQ? So, if you're the leader, that your job is to pay attention, because the lack of resilience is going to shine through more than anything. But you want to be able to remove that obstacle. That's what, when we talk about barriers, the obstacles to growth, you want to be able to remove those so you can help them on their way forward. And also, if you see that they are doing that, then you want to give them those healthy boundaries that are going to help them stay on the right path, when they are enduring. And at the same time, you want to help establish some of those healthy boundaries that are going to keep them on the right path towards growth. So what may appear as resilience can sometimes really hide deeper struggles. It may mask a need for small things like just a day off, a day of rest, reflection, and balance. You might need to have conversations with your employees about that, with your teammates about that. How can you reflect? Resilience is all about learning from the adversity that you go through. My definition: bouncing back from adversity and learning from it in the process. So take a knee, take a time out, really get back to the drawing board, analyze how your responses were as a team when a crisis come up. Think about it as if you were on a project and one of your star employees just ups and quits, and how did you respond to that? This is where that collective strength comes in. This is where not hiding or masking your emotional response, or just trying to force something and through strength and not vulnerability. And I'm thinking about the ironies of resilience, and I'm thinking about irony, and it makes me think about Iron Man. And he was one of those characters that really had a lot of strength, who tried to hide it, who used his resilience as a mask, until he realized that the more vulnerable he was, the more that he could rely on the team, the more that they could help, and his resilience grew. in that community of being in the Avengers. And that true resilience is one that is not based on just this unsustainable effort that we're trying to give. That's burnout. What you want to do is you want to be on fire. You want to thrive. You want to contribute. You want to be value added. You want to be the source of things that are good at your, when you go into work each day. And a lot of this is built around the idea of how resilient can you be to adversity? How resilient can you be when challenges come up, when things that are unexpected come up? What are you, how do you respond to those moments? So, you know, having a good mentor, not doing this in isolation, being a little bit vulnerable with what some of your weaknesses are, maybe even do like a SWOT analysis for yourself, for your team. SWOT analysis is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Just take that chart and fill it out like with the situation or with the team members themselves. And then just really, even if it's just training that you don't have, it could just be something simple as running meetings more efficiently. There's little things that add up and can create more resilience. So I'm going to leave you with two questions that you can take for yourself or back to your team and use it as a team building exercise. The first question is, how do you know you're being resilient? Is there a way you've been able to identify that you're not on a path to burnout? This might go back to the journal. So if you haven't downloaded the journal, I've done that 14-day journal. That's a free, it's PDF format on bnbresilience.com. So take that. That's going to take you through some of your own past adversity and really what have you been able to learn from that, and really kind of building that connection of like how do you develop resilience. And then the second question I want to offer you is, what can you do in your workplace to contribute to that culture of feedback that provides an ability to build resilience? You want a culture that is welcoming, vulnerability, welcoming community orientation, and just so it's that resilience that you may have, so it's not masked for something else. It's not a mask for some deeper struggles that you may have. So, what can you do to give to your community, to your team, or whatever your context may be in that? So, with that, I just want to say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. If you got any questions or you want to email me, it's bnbresilience@gmail.com. And until next time, EB out here.